Hey, what's up? I am thinking of making brownies and or cookies, so if you want to watch me do that and maybe learn a thing or two, freaking stay tuned, because that's what we're about to do. So, see you in a second when I get all the ingredients out and we can set that shit up. So here's all of my ingredients. Half a cup plus 2 tablespoons of butter, and this is gonna get melted on the stove. Everything that's in these metal bowls is gonna get melted on the stove over like a double boiler. A cup of granulated sugar, 2 eggs plus 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, and some salt. And then here's a cup of regular chocolate chips. This is half a cup that's gonna get melted. This is gonna go in the actual batter as chocolate chips. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of toffee on the top of half. But now we're gonna get into actually making it. So it's just in there, it's melting a little bit because of the water underneath. But you don't want it to get too hot because once we put the chocolate in there, we don't want the chocolate to burn. So I would keep it like below half, definitely. But basically you're just waiting until all this melts. Cute, fun. So the butter is just about done on the stove. She's pretty much melted. There's like a little bit of chunks, but those will probably melt down as she finishes cooling. And so we're gonna move this over here so we can cream the sugar into it. And first though, I'm gonna put the chocolate onto the stove so it can start to melt. All the butter is soft now, and we're switching over to a whisk anyway, so it doesn't matter if there's any little clumps. And we're gonna take our cup of granulated sugar, pour it into the butter, and using a whisk because you want to incorporate a lot of air. Just cream it up. Once this is all smooth, we're gonna add in our 2 eggs and our vanilla extract. And this is why we put the chocolate on right after the butter is done, because the next thing we're gonna do is basically whisk in that melted chocolate. So now we just gotta wait until that's done. I'm gonna go check the stove to see how it's doing. This is basically what a double boiler does to chocolate. It melts it down. It takes a little bit longer. It's like a little stiff right now, but as it keeps melting, it gets more creamy and liquidy. So just gonna keep melting this until she's ready to go in. And just so you guys can see, it did not take long. Like, that was literally a couple seconds and she's already getting real ribbony and nice and smooth. So we're just gonna keep stirring it a little bit, and then we'll go back over and mix it with the butter. Okay, so this was over there for not even that long, but as you can see, I mean, she's a little thick, but that's okay because we're gonna whisk her in. So just kind of plop her in there, it doesn't really matter. She's gonna get stirred and whisked, properly incorporated, but we just want to get her out of this other bowl. Now I think, yeah, so we're gonna take the flour, the cocoa powder, and the salt. I'm just gonna toss that in there. And then bring back the rubber spatula and slowly kind of fold all this together. You don't want to overwork it because it'll get real tough. And then now that that's there, you're just gonna add the, what is this, half cup fucking chocolate chips, a cup of chocolate chips. And then these you can just mix around until they're distributed. So this is looking pretty good. It is pretty thick, but that's okay. The best brownies are. And these are gonna put them in this parchment lined thing. I might spray it a little bit just in case. Using some organic canola oil spray. Cute. I want to see if we can get this in frame. So what if we do this? And that's beautiful. Now I'm just spreading it around. Doesn't need to be perfect. Like, it's gonna bake. It's gonna do what it's gonna do, you know? Okay. I think that's good enough. So we preheated our oven to 350 degrees. And this beauty, it's gonna go in for 30 minutes. So this is why we did these first, because the cookies don't take that long. So we could basically do all the prep work and stuff with cookies while these are in the oven. So I'm gonna throw them in there. I'm gonna put them on the middle rack. And I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna clean up and then get started on the cookie stuff, and I'll see you in a sec. The cookie recipe is a little bit different, but kind of the same principles. We're gonna start with half a cup, so 1 stick of butter that we're gonna brown over the stove instead of just melting it. So that's why it's all the way in the actual pan. And then once that's off, we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of butter once that starts to cool down a little bit. This is gonna be our sugars. It's 3/4 a cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of granulated, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, some salt, and some baking powder. And this is a couple different kinds of chocolate that I just roughly chopped up. Those are gonna become the chocolate chips or chocolate chunks or whatever you wanna call them. I'm gonna take this over to the stove to start getting this browned, and then I'll come back and show you progress and stuff. So let's get to it. Okay, so see, this is like basically melted butter, which is what we did for the brownies. But we wanna go a couple steps past this to when it starts to like foam and bubble. It's gonna be hard because I can't really tilt the pan like I was just doing. But when you stir it, you can kind of see the difference between like the golden underneath and the really white like foam on top. That's basically what you want, but you want the golden to become brown. So here's like the next stage. Basically, it's starting to, you can hear it bubble and sizzle a little bit, and you can see the bubbles show up. You gotta start a little bit faster to get through the foam, but you can still see it's still pretty golden, and we want it to be a little bit darker. So we're at this point, and as you can see, it's getting pretty brown. There's like little spots that you want to keep scraping the bottom for, because that's what's going to start burning. Can you see all that brown? That's kind of what you're going for. It's under all the foam though, so yeah, she really browned up. So I'm going to take it off the heat. We're going to pour it into here, and I'm going to do this better. So 1 sec. This is just a metal bowl with a trivet under it so it doesn't burn the counter. But here's our brown butter, and you can see it's really nice. And we're just gonna pour it in here. And we're gonna let it cool for like about a minute before we add our other butter and other ingredients. Once we have our bowl of butter, we're gonna take the not melted butter and we're gonna drop it in. You want it to melt slowly. See those little cubes of butter? Don't get melted down. Once that butter is melted, we're adding in both the granulated and the brown sugar. Okay, so this recipe calls for 1 whole egg. Then we are going to add 2 egg yolks. So this is the neat way I learned how to separate the yolk from the white. You just pass it back and forth with a little shell a couple times until you get most of the white to drip out.
Third egg, crack on the side, crack down. Oh, please tell me I didn't puncture the yolk. I want to get those shells out of there because I'm going to use this egg white, so. Oh no. Oh no, I totally just dropped it in there. Let's try to scoop it out. Oh. Okay, well.
Can't win them all. Okay. So there's a little bit of yolk in there, but that's basically another yolk. And now we're gonna whisk all that together. We're gonna whisk in 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I put away my, or 2 teaspoons, oh my god, sorry. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I put away my teaspoon measured. That looks like 2, yeah. And this is gonna get whisked in also. And now we're gonna switch back to our rubber spatula to fold in all the dry ingredients, just like with the brownies. So as you can see, it's like pretty dough-like already. You can see there's a little bit of flour up here, so we're just gonna scrape that in. And now it's time to add in all the chocolate chunks. I just chopped these up roughly with a knife. And these are gonna go in about 3 tablespoons. I'm gonna do like just shy of this is 1/4 cup scoop, and they're gonna go onto parchment lined cookie sheet into the 375-degree oven for about 8 minutes. Just keep your eye on them because you don't want them to burn. You want to give them a little bit of room because these ones definitely spread out a lot. And yeah, like it really doesn't matter what they look like. They spread out and do their own shit in the oven anyway. So again, on the middle rack, we're gonna put the rest of the cookie dough onto that cookie sheet. Get back to you once they're all baked. So see you then. So here's the cookies fresh out the oven. They look real homemade, real cracked. See, but look at those chocolate chunks, like that whole melty bit of chocolate. Oof. It's fuck them up. I just put the second batch in there, so we're gonna have those in a second. But yeah, it's basically done now. Everything's made. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little baking video. I really enjoy baking, so if you guys want to see more or like have new recipes you want me to try, fucking leave them down below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know if you want me to do more of this, or if you're like, shut up, nobody literally cares, then I'll stop. But it all depends on if you guys tell me what you want to see. So leave a suggestion down below what you want me to film, and maybe I'll get to it. But I just want to thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys try these recipes out because they're both really good. Like every time I made them, I've just been like, Bon Appetit's cookies, and it's called The Best Brownie Recipe by the Stay-at-Home Chef. I'll leave them both linked down below if you guys ever want to try them. And yeah, I think that's about it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to. I have a couple more videos you can watch if you haven't, or you can rewatch them. Like, you know, I'm not gonna be mad. Hope you guys have a great day, great week, great weekend if it's the weekend when you're watching this. I love you, and I'll talk to you next time. So stay dope. I don't fucking know. Sorry. I think I'm just gonna be done now.